The aftermath. That's I think that's my favourite cool effect.
Three, two.
Right, so we're going on to
Fight.
Airwalk and Mega off the spawn for cool, a pretty bog standard start. So a lot of players will start them out, rain that rocket down, grab that Mega. And I know this was always seen as quite a weak map for Cooler, but I think we've seen some brilliant performances by him.
Well, initially when the map was first played in Quake 3, he struggled with it, didn't he? You can think back to the game against CZM at QuakeCon, where, it wasn't much of a game, was it? But it didn't take long for him to actually be competing on it.
I'm sure I remember him even picking it against somebody, but I can't remember the specifics. But yeah, I mean, those early QuakeCon games, he hadn't played it before the tournament. His own fault at the end of the day. He chose not to practice it.
And he took the gamble that with the map picking system at QuakeCon, which was a random map, wasn't it?
Yes.
He took the gamble that that wouldn't be the map, but of course,
he came unstuck.
Of course, it was.
Yeah, the Americans got the map they were stronger on. Luck of the draw, I guess. Misses his rail shot though. Great little dodge. Just gonna save that mega pickup as well. That's always something I'm so impressed by, is Cooler's dodging.
2 seconds. Excellent.
It's something that's often overlooked in terms of players. Always people get all obsessive about the aim and stuff, and all item control, but dodging is equally as important in a fight.
Yeah, because you can have all the aim in the world, but Cooler's dodge at times is almost unhittable.
I remember them talking about in Quake 4, and who was it? Was it Toxic, I think he said about? He said that the way Cooler dodges, rather than side to side in a rocket fight, he'll move forwards and backwards. So he'll move towards you and back away from you, which is unlike any other players. So as a result, you're aiming in a different way as you would against anybody else.
But of course, side to side only in a rocket fight isn't necessarily that hard to hit, is it? Side to side is more for hit scan dodging, of course. Rockets take an extra amount of unpredictability.
Catches out Gory, they're jumping to the red. Looks like he's in a very good control position at the moment, Cooler. Just lay down some serious damage across the map. Left the red up, could potentially miss out on it here, although I guess Gory didn't get the spot. I'm not really sure how the spots work anymore.
If you time your dodges as well, especially in a rocket fight, if you dodge, do a little dodge, sort of as the reload time is about to expire, and then they try to put the prediction rocket, but then you back away. If you time it, if you get the timing just right between the reloads, you can properly mess up somebody's aim in a rocket fight and just dominate them.
Something I noticed that Deuce is really good at is his dodging. I don't think he even knows or notices. He's just naturally worked out.
Well, look at some of that rocket dodging we saw from Pavel in the TDM game against Lemming's Effect on Limbus. It was unbelievable.
I think often the duelers will be a bit better at dodge because, when you're focusing developing your duel game, there's many fewer aspects to...
Well, dodging in duel is slightly more important, isn't it? Because it's always a 1v1 fight, whereas... Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can dodge in TDM in such a way that you're making yourself hard to hit for one person, but really easy to hit for another.
Yeah. Well,
so it's less of a prioritised skill, I guess.
A couple of frags there. Cooler just diving straight into his LG. Couldn't switch out quick enough, and Gory's now 3 frags on the board. Of course, this is Airwalk. It's more about the momentum, who's it with in, I don't know, the last 2 minutes more than this early on in the game, because you often get switches like this from frag. Nice frag though on Gory. Good LG by Cooler. Came out on top. Let's have a look at some of his stats. 31% lightning gun, 30% rail.
I really don't think that Airwalk is as exciting as it was when it first came out with the old Quake 3 spawn system, or when it first started to be used in tournaments. Now we used to see those monster frag runs, even from top players against other top players.
Sparty being insanely exciting on it. And just running around with rail hitting every shot. It's so good to watch. I don't know nowadays. You're right. There's something about it that's not. Although in some ways that's just the weakening of all the weapons across the board in Quake Live.
It's a spawn system.
And yeah, maybe the spawn system. You can't control it nicely on rail by Cooler there.
Well, you can control it, I just don't think it's as good.
9 to 5. You know, it's not a really solid lead at the moment. You know, and on Arrow Walk, 9 to 5 is close to being a draw. You get frags so quickly on this map.
Well, frags on the board's always an advantage, scoreboard pressure and all that disc, but you know, it's certainly not a safe lead.
Kula was looking vulnerable there to being railed and really being on low health. Instead, managed to get that Mega. He's been railed again, but he's in a good position for this red armor. And Gory took some serious damage there as well.
But Gory has good damage output, so you know, even when Cooler's taking the items, he's not being dominated and forced back into terrible situations because he maintains good damage output, and there's still an amount of pressure on Cooler, which just means he can't be free to run around as he wants.
That was very nice. Bit of lightning done there for really aggressive pushing forwards. Now built up the gap to 5 frags again. And aggressive again. Not getting lucky on that same spawn as we saw him get the frag on earlier. Gory onto the health. That helps him survive it. And he's going to take that red armor. Just showing that Avec style aggression, just rushing forward straight away off the spawn, looking for the quick return frag. Doesn't work out that time, but he did a lot of damage, and Gory's in trouble here. He does pick up the Mega. This is probably the right way to go about it on this map. Just keep dealing damage to Gory. He doesn't get lucky in that occasion, and that's the moment where Gory can start to turn this around and really build up a strong advantage again. Still behind though, a couple of frags. Cooler picking up the railgun, drops down, does get the frag on Gory. What are we thinking watching Cooler's game then? Is it strong? Is it weak? What is it?
Well, it's never going to be weak, is it? But it's not his best, or even close to it.
Legends event tomorrow, of course.
Impressive.
That's rail shot. You just see moments, don't you?
He is a big game player though, so I reckon he'll be able to step it up when he needs to tomorrow.
That's true. I mean, I remember plenty of games seeing him against weaker opponents, and he would almost look, you know, similar to their level, and he wouldn't necessarily decimate every opponent. He'd just do enough to win.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back, someone like a Fox would absolutely destroy the lesser players in tournaments, and then someone like Cooler would then play those same lesser players and not get close to the same frag margins that Fox would get. But inevitably, Cooler would always beat Fox in tournaments. So it just shows you the difference. Cooler doesn't necessarily, I don't know, is it the motivation or
I know
the same desire?
I can never be bothered to absolutely destroy people. I just winning is enough. I don't feel like there's anything to be gained by. It's boring, in other words. Just absolutely smashing somebody. Either way, 15 to 9. He's in a good position his last couple of minutes as well. If he can ward off Gory, he'll be, I'd imagine, set to win. But Gory does get the frag there, so it's 5 frag gap, more than possible. Cooler's going to need to survive this period out. And by hitting his rail shots, that's the way to do it. There he goes, does hit a second rail. Almost failed the jump, escape through the teleporter backwards. Gory coming flying in there, does catch him out, and it's now a 4 frag margin between the two. Gory catching him with a rocket, but Cooler had already weakened him with those 2 earlier rails, and now the Mega in the hands of Cooler as well. You'd like to think this is probably close to being over.
Well, I wouldn't like to think that. I'd love to see it come back.
If Gory comes back, that would suggest that Cooler's out of the tournament for.
Well, I guess that would kind of ruin this Cooler Puff stream.
Cooler Puff. Isn't it amazing how, you know, I haven't advertised this stream or anything, but you get way more views for Duel than you use VDM. Just straight away, just...
And it's not even a good game. Really? It's not.
People love their Duel. 2 frags the margin now. We've got 25 seconds left. Cooler's going to have to be careful over this one. He's going to have to deal out some serious damage, though. Oh, that's actually really nice play. He's done a lot of damage, and that's just going to delay any attack by Gory. He had to push, though. And there he goes. That's just confirming victory on this, unless Cooler, well, forces spawn. Or doesn't force spawn as such. Yeah, it's over. One frag game in the end. Cooler takes it. 2-1 on the maps.